Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Bukola Jolugo, fondly referred to as Kiki, and I'm super excited to have you come back to my channel if you're returning. And if this is your first time, thank you so much for coming. You're an answer to prayers. Now, in this month of August, so we've been talking about perfectionism in parenting teenage boys. And today we want to do a bit of self-reflection. Let's search within ourselves to see what we expect of our teenage boys. Do we indirectly expect perfect boys? A lot of the times, I know a lot of us will be saying, oh, no, I know they make mistakes. But when they make these mistakes, how do you respond or react to the mistake? Do you respond and react to their mistakes as though they have made mistakes or they have done something that is totally unacceptable because they should know better or be perfect? Now, a lot of the times we do things, and to our boys, this now is based on conversations I've had with boys at the Boys to Men Institute and Boys for Real Academy. And to them, they feel that they need to do something to validate. They need to be validated. They need to do something to deserve our love as parents. So when they do something, the way we respond, when they make mistakes, the way we respond to them means we do not love them. But I do not believe there is any parent out there who would not love their child. So why do these children feel we do not love them as parents? I think that's something we should reflect on. Also, I've got it here on this self-reflection. And as a parent, I've got two teenage boys in my home as well. And as a parent, I think a lot about, the way God relates to us as his children. Though we're not God, but we're learning from him, And one of the things I think that I thought about while I was reflecting on this is this where God gave his approval of Jesus, even before Jesus did anything. That place where Jesus was coming to be baptized, and he said, "This is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased, hear ye him." This was before any performance or anything that God gave that validation and that public announcement of Jesus Christ as his son. I think that was like his major stepping out, other than, when in the temple when his parents were looking for him and all of that. And at that major stepping out, God gave his validation before he did that speech, he did that exam, he passed that exam or did whatever. And I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, there are times where Jesus had it tough. There were times where Jesus had it tough. There were times where when Jesus, felt that, oh God, my God, why art thou forsaken me? God, where are you? Take this cup away from me. But you know what kept him going, as far as I'm concerned? The confidence that he had or has in the love of the Father for him. He was so confident of that love because before he did anything, now Jesus was going to die. That was his assignment, And even at the point where he was wondering, why do I have to die? That love that he was sure of kept him going. He knew God loved him, and that made him trust God, so that irrespective of the consequences, let's use that word, even though it wasn't consequences, irrespective of the journey, irrespective of what he had to go through, he trusted that this God, this Father loves me, and he will not leave me nor forsake me. Even though that's the way I feel right now, even though things are so tough, even though I'm making mistakes, even though I'm not passing this exam, even though this exam seems like so tough and I just don't want to do it. Even though these hormones are driving me nuts and I can't control my anger or my emotions, this Father trusts This father loves and understands me, and so I trust him. How do you communicate your love to your teenage boy such that when they make mistakes, they're running back home because they know that you love them? Love is showing love and showing unconditional love. In love, there must be consequences when we're showing love, right? I'm not saying there can't be consequences to what our children do wrong, but consequences must be communicated. There is a thin line between consequences and condemnation. For a lot of our boys, what they feel they get from us is condemnation and not consequences. How many times has your boy done something that you think or you know it's wrong? He faces the consequences, and then you take your time to listen to him, to why he did that thing, what he understood by the act, and what he would do better next time. Instead, a lot of us, we bring down the roof, we yell, we get angry, we get upset, and we say things we shouldn't say, we do things we shouldn't do, and then we expect the boys to respond to us in a subtle way, in a mature way. Somebody told me a story not too long ago of how his son got drunk and all of that. And, I learned a lot from that story. His teenage boy went out with his friends. They got drunk and he had to go and pick his son up from there. A stranger actually called him to come and pick his son up. The stranger went through the boy and found the father's contact details. And then the father now went there to pick his son up. And he told me something other than the thing that the conversation or the things the boy was saying while in that state. He said, well, after he got the boy home, he cleaned his son up, laid him to sleep, and then the next day, I'm close to tears now. And then the next day, the boy, he had a conversation. When the boy was okay, he had a conversation with the boy to discuss what had happened. Now, I am not saying I don't believe in getting drunk. Some people do. That's fun for them. It's fine. I don't, and thankfully, my children do not as well. But I just use that as an example. And what I got from that is, if being drunk is not a value in that home or is against the values in that home, right? Based on the way the man handled it, there is every probability that boy will never be drunk in his life again. Now, let's assume the man had gone to pick the boy up and had said all sorts of things in anger to the boy. His inability to control his emotions, his disappointments would have destroyed that boy. It would no longer have been a mistake. It would have been a life error that the boy would be condemned for. A lot of us make that mistake. I have in the past as well. But as I grow older, as my children grow older, I begin to think, these children are children. Children are bound to learn. Children are bound to trip. Let's look at, the things our children did when they were younger. They are bound to learn from their mistakes. So instead of condemning them because of their mistakes, why not ensure the consequences are felt, and then they can learn from the consequences. When they are condemned, they remain in the place of condemnation. And when they remain in the place of condemnation, we all want validation. We all want approval, whether we like it or not. Adults, children, old, young, we all want, even God That's why he wants us to always worship and appreciate him. So when our children do not get unconditional love, approval from us as parents, they look for it because it's a need in human life. So they look for it, and when they look for it, they would get it. Unfortunately, they will look for it the wrong way and get it from the wrong set of people. So another consequences of us, or another results, consequences of us condemning our children and not allowing them to learn from their mistakes is when it becomes a reoccurrence in the home, they begin to think there are problems in the home. Nobody wants to feel their problems. So when they begin to think there are problems in the home, they withdraw, they find approval somewhere else, and then there begin to be strife in the home. There is envy between the siblings, and then the children begin to damage the home themselves, and which leads to damaged generations. So we see that all this perfectionism, in as much as we think, oh, I want them to get it right, it's actually not a good thing in the end. It's actually going to destroy not just them, but their generations, their children, and even our own home. There won't be peace in the home. Who loves to stay in a place where there is no peace? I don't. I want peace. I always want to laugh, play, and enjoy myself. There is, and then when there is peace in the home, it allows for productivity for ourselves and even our children. So parents, my question to you today is consequences or condemnation? Perfectionism or learning process? Which of them are you presenting in the home to your children? This is the time for self-reflection. I hope this has helped you reflect a bit on how you're doing it and the message you're passing across to your boys. I am your girl Kiki, and I will be back again next week. Now, before you go, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Hit the notification button so when we release these videos, you get notified, and then we can all learn from each other. Also, remember to leave your comments below. I really want to hear from you about these topics and anything else you think we should address on this channel.